Hello. So next will be a keynote session from Aavegotchi. If you've been to the booth, it's actually a really cute game. So it will be about 15 minutes or so. Okay, please welcome Coderdan from Aavegotchi.
Thank you, thank you. Let's see. All right, hello everyone. How are you all doing today? So before we get into the talk, I just want to ask real quick, who here has actually participated in DAO governance? Raise a hand. Nice, right? Very cool, very cool. All right, so we got a very awesome DAO specific audience today, which is perfect because today I'm going to be talking about how we at Aavegotchi bootstrapped our DAO governance, and we're able to create a gaming platform and raise $30 million for our platform without any VCs in a fully decentralized manner. So hope you guys enjoy this talk and maybe have some pointers and tips for in the future if you're going to try and launch your own decentralized DAO platform or something related to DAOs. So thank you guys so much, and here we go. So the first part I'd like to talk about was what we called the DAO ICO. And let's give a little bit of context for what this term means and how we got to it. Anyone here remember the ICO mania of 2017? Anyone here participate in any crazy ICOs from that time? No? Okay, I'm looking. Well, the ICO period was a pretty wild time in crypto. It started in 2016 and really peaked in about 2017. And what happened, it was called an initial coin offering. And basically what would happen was these teams would, they had a white paper or some form of like a vision for what they wanted to do. And to raise money for that project, they would announce this ICO. Ethereum itself was also bootstrapped in this manner. So it's very, basically people learned from that model and they said, we're going to do our own ICO. And there were companies raising massive amounts of money using these ICO methods. And well, some of them didn't end up following on all their promises. Some of them, they took the money and they kind of chilled. They didn't do anything. They stopped developing, or they just used the money for some other purposes, partying, all sorts of stuff. It was a wild period. So after that period, Vitalik, everyone I'm sure here knows Vitalik. Vitalik had kind of a viral tweet, I think it was about 2017 or 2018, where he introduced this idea of a DAO ICO. DAOs were still pretty new back then. The hack of the DAO, the big hack, had just happened, and it was a huge topic. So DAOs were definitely in the forefront of what people were discussing and talking about. And so Vitalik said, this ICO mania of 2017, it's not healthy. We need a better way. We need what he liked to call a DAO ICO. And you can just see here some of the differences. The DAO, we have the wisdom of the crowd. We have it's more decentralized. And what's really important is that funding can be spread over time. And that means that when in the pre-ICO era, these teams would raise like $200, $300 million, and they would get it all at once. And so, like, if you get a huge amount of money like that, human psychology says that a lot of people are not really gonna fulfill those promises. They're gonna get lazy, or they're gonna do other stuff, or work on all sorts of pet side projects. So that's what ended up happening. And then you have what the ICO is. It's based around a single project, and there's no 51% attack risk, which basically means the team has all the tokens, so it's kind of hard to attack the project. Well, Vitalik came up with this idea of the DAO ICO, which is an ICO where the team receives funding for doing something, creating the vision that they put in their white paper, but they don't get all the money all at once. The DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization that is creating this ICO, they're the ones that have all the money, and they distribute it out to the team. And this model sounds really good in theory. It sounds like a great model. But what we discovered in 2020, in 2019 and 2020, when we were starting to do our project, we realized that literally no one else had actually done this model of fundraising. It was kind of crazy when we discovered that. We were basically the first ever DAO ICO. So let's talk about how we started doing our DAO ICO. We are Aavegotchi. We are an NFT gaming platform that is kind of managed and decentralized by Aavegotchi DAO, which is our core DAO. So we wanted to do things the right way. We wanted to do a DAO ICO. And when we started looking around at all the different technology out there at the time, how we could do this DAO ICO, well, we actually ended up discovering something that was really, really interesting. Who here is familiar with Aragon? Anyone here like Aragon? Yeah, see a few hands. Love Aragon. Massive props to Aragon. So we were looking at all the different smart contracts and all the different ways of how we could do an ICO, and I forget how I found it, but we found this template that Aragon had made. Aragon has a bunch of different templates. They have like a governance template, a voting template, but they had this fundraising template that was literally exactly what we wanted. It created this bonding curve where people would send us DAI and we would give them our token in exchange. And over time, as more and more DAI entered the bonding curve, the price of our token would go up. And as people sold their ghost, then the DAI would exit and they would receive it back. It was basically an early version of an AMM. So we were like looking, and it turned out that Aragon had actually got this template audited, and it was like ready to go. But for some reason, they had just abandoned it. And so we were like looking through it, found it in their GitHub, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is exactly how a DAO ICO should be done. And they had done it. They had created this specifically for that purpose. So we were really excited when we discovered this template, and we adopted it immediately. We said, this is how we're going to do our ICO. So the first step of that, we launched what we call the bonding curve, and you can see it here. When the curve first launched, the price of Ghost was basically 0, and every time someone deposited their DAI into the bonding curve, the price would go up on a mathematical curve here, and people could also sell their DAI, sell their Ghost back into the curve to get their DAI back out, and that would lower the price. So for the next, we had this meme, this idea in Aavegotchi that the curve was forever. We were going to have this curve forever, and this fundraising would just last forever. But it turns out that the narrator said the curve wasn't forever. There was a little bit of drama that we had to deal with. But when we launched this in 2020 in September, it was really successful. We had an amazing launch. A lot of people were joining the community. They were putting their DAI into the bonding curve, and that lasted for about 3 pretty smooth years. The AMM was doing its job, and what was interesting is from our side, as the project creator, we were actually receiving funding from this bonding curve, and the way that worked was there's a mechanic built into the Aragon fundraising template, which, by the way, right now is basically deprecated. Like, no one's really using it. I wouldn't recommend using it, but it's very cool tech. It had this mechanic called the tap, and the tap basically meant that us, as the project, every month we would receive 50,000 DAI directly from the treasury of the bonding curve that I just showed you. So every month, 50,000 DAI would be allocated to us as the team. We could withdraw it out from the bonding curve, and we could use it for development. So you can see, truly, this was exactly how the DAO ICO model was supposed to work. And at some point, we went to the DAO, and we said, hey, guys, actually 50,000 isn't really enough for what we're trying to do. Can we raise the tap? And the DAO said, yes, we're going to do a vote on that. And the DAO actually raised our tap up to, I believe it was 100K. And then we went back maybe 6 months later and we said, actually, guys, it's like we need a little bit more. Could we raise it up to 150? And they said, okay, yeah. That was the last time that we ever raised the tap. So for the next probably 18, 24 months, every month our team would receive 150K DAI to do all of our development work. And that's basically how we developed Aavegotchi, our NFT gaming platform, over from the period of 2020 all the way to 2023. Now, in 2023, there's something very interesting happened to the whole crypto space. But there was this thing called MakerDAO. You guys, everyone here know MakerDAO? They're the creators of DAI, okay, the stable coin. And one of the founders, or the founder of MakerDAO, had this plan called Endgame that was very controversial in the space. It kind of a lot of people had very different opinions about about the Endgame, and we as the founders of Aavegotchi, we were looking at it and saying, wow, like this is a big change for MakerDAO. So what we started thinking about was maybe we should end our sale. Maybe the curve isn't forever. Maybe we should just end it. And so we started chatting with the DAO, proposing the conclusion of this sale, and the DAO had a very lengthy discussion. It was a big topic in our community, but eventually the DAO finally did put up a vote to close the bonding curve because of this potential risk of all of our DAO's money being in DAI, and maybe who knows, one day maybe DAI might depeg. Maybe the DAI wouldn't be $1 forever. Maybe it would go to 80 cents or 70 cents. So the DAO voted yes, and not making this up, this is probably the most insane thing that's happened in our project. The day that we voted to close the bonding curve and remove the DAI token from the bonding curve, anyone here remember the SVG, Silicon Valley Bank, when that happened? USDC depegged by like 20%, and DAI also depegged by about 15%. And we were freaking out. We were like, it's happening, it's happening. We predicted this. We told you guys it would happen. And it just so happened that it was happening on the day that we had closed the bonding curve. So we were all freaking out. We almost like paper-handed our DAI and sold it into USDC, taking a 15% haircut. But we decided not to. We decided to hodl it, and luckily DAI repegged, and we were able to sell it for the normal amount. So the final result of all this was that through that bonding curve, over the 3-year period, we were able to raise about $30 million in DAI in a fully decentralized and trustless way. How I wish more people in crypto were raising funds. No like high FD low FDV or high FDV low float tokens or meme tokens or stuff. I feel like we did it the right way, and I hope this example can kind of inspire people here in the audience that there is actually another way to raise funds. It's not the easiest way for sure, but it is I believe the right way, and it's definitely a way to build a strong community and have people aligned with your vision for what you have and what you're trying to do. So real quick, haven't had a lot of chance to talk about Aavegotchi, but we are an NFT gaming platform that is owned and controlled by the DAO. We are about to launch our own gaming L3. L3 is basically a type of blockchain it's a blockchain, but it settles to an L2 like Base, and we're launching this L3 as our own DApp chain for Aavegotchi. All of our games, all of our transactions are going to be on this L3, and Ghost GHST token is going to be the gas token for this chain. So real quick, this is going to be kind of an exclusive chain. We're calling it the first members only blockchain, which means that anyone can transact on the chain, but if you want to earn rewards on the chain by playing our games, you're going to need to become a member, and that's going to be a little bit of an exclusive process. So if you guys are here, I'm assuming everyone here in the audience is a human. Is that correct? No bots here. You guys are all humans. You look like humans. So that's why we're doing this opportunity here while you guys are here. If you want to get like a special priority access to potentially becoming a member on Geist in the future, feel free to scan this QR code. There's also a mint at the end. It's a commemorative NFT. I think it costs like 66 cents. It's just a normal base transaction. And also real quick, I'm out of time here, but we also are welcoming developers to come on and potentially build on Geist. So also take a screenshot of that if you're interested. And this is our token, Ghost token. It's listed on Binance and Coinbase and a couple other major exchanges. This will be the gas token of Geist. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Oh.